During the international break, every continent comes alive on our channel, Eurovision, all things Europe, Nations League, Euros, FIFA WC qualifiers. Goal Plus Africa, Africa's Heartbeat, AFCON, CHAN, COSAFA Cup, FIFA WC qualifiers. Libertadores Vision, South America Uncovered, Copa Libertadores, Copa America, WC qualifiers. Silk Dynasty, Asia Spotlight, Asian Cup, WC qualifiers. Harambee Stars Unleashed, everything about Kenya's national team. When club football dominates, we go deeper, United Frontline, the ultimate Man United fan experience. Echoes of Anfield, Liverpool like you've never seen it. House of Galacticos, Real Madrid Uncovered. Premier League Game Month Show, Stats, Analysis, Insights every 4 game weeks. Champions Crystal Ball, UEFA Tournaments, Club World Cup, Super Cup Predictions. Final Whistle Debate Show, the hottest sports topics debated by experts, every 6 weeks. Deal Paranoia, transfer window coverage you can't miss. And for weekly predictions? We cover everything, Premier League, Championship, FA Cup, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, League One, DStv Premiership, T20 Cricket, F1, Women's Super League, international tournaments, and much more. Why subscribe? Because we don't just show games, we predict, analyze, debate, and break the stories that matter. From transfers to tactical battles, from managerial appointments to live watch-alongs, Football Overseas gives you the edge no other channel does. This is your hub for global sports, where every match counts, every opinion matters, and every fan belongs. Subscribe, join the
You guys, and you have had it. So welcome to the Football Overseas YouTube channel. We are live for another stream on the World Cup 2026. It is game week 3. It is the last stream for the group stage, and obviously it is tougher. If you say qualifiers on the cards, there's a lot of things that matter. And make sure you smash the subscribe button, make sure you like the streams, and make sure you share with your audience and everything, because these are the final group games matches, and knockouts will be decided. Obviously, some knockouts are already decided, but we'll go through them. Yeah. So let me start off by sharing my screen, by sharing my screen, and by going through my predictions. And yeah, so I'll start off with 2 segments. Number 1, Game Week 2 review. Mm. Yeah, Game Week 2 review, and then we go for Game Week 3 predictions. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Mhm. So obviously, first game of Game Week 2, it was Czech Republic versus South Africa. This game, I backed Czech Republic. I thought Czech Republic will win the game against South Africa. They bottled it towards the end, and South Africa shocked all of us, especially with 2 men being sent off. 2 men being sent off in the first opening game. We thought South Africa would be a bit wounded mentally, but South Africa snatched points towards the end, and it was a shocking. Kudos to South Africa. Yeah, they really shocked me. Next game, Switzerland versus Bosnia. I thought this game will be a dead rubber game of 1-1. Yeah, but I was. Wait. Yeah, I thought this game would be a dead rubber game of 1-1, but I was shocked when Switzerland smashed Bosnia 4-1. I should have backed Switzerland to do the job, I guess, against Bosnia. Yeah. And then Canada versus Qatar, I was too humble. I put Canada as 2-0. I didn't know that Canada have the strength, but again, Qatar was having two men sent off. So again, makes sense why they beat Canada 6-0, but it was a prediction where result wise I was right, but exactly I was way off. Mexico versus South Korea. I thought South Korea will shock the world and beat Mexico, but seems like Mexico played better football and Mexico qualified for the World Cup. USA versus Australia. I thought USA would score two goals, obviously. I was expecting Australia to score one goal, but Australia was a bit off that day, but I was close with this prediction. Scotland versus Morocco. Yeah, this game looked like a Morocco game. I was close to this prediction. I thought it would be a one game difference where the winner will win by one goal ahead. And I was right about that. But the scoreline prediction, it was two. I predicted 2-1. The real match was 1-0. So I was slightly off there. Brazil versus Haiti. I went to 2-0 win. Was a bit cautious about Brazil, especially after that match against Morocco. I knew it was going to be 3-0, but I went 2-0. I was a bit cautious about Brazil. Yeah. Turkey versus Paraguay. This is where it shocked me really. I was expecting Turkey to come back after being shocked against Australia, but Turkey bottled it against Paraguay and they lost 1-0 to Paraguay. So it was a shocker. It was even against odds. Paraguay got an odd win of 14%, where 40 people were backing Paraguay, and Switzerland and Turkey 57% of people were backing Turkey to win. Yeah, so it was a shock. And yeah, Netherlands Sweden, I thought this game was actually going to go to a draw because of attack versus attack. Both teams are kind of balanced. Both teams have their issues, defensive issues, and seems like Sweden's defensive issues were more visible than Netherlands' defensive issues. Netherlands' attack were lethal going forward, and they kept Sweden on their toes. So 5-1 to Netherlands, I did see that happening. I saw Netherlands win. To be honest, earlier I saw Netherlands win before I changed to 1-1, but I didn't see a 5-1 win for Netherlands. Yeah. Germany versus Ivory Coast. I knew this game will be attack versus attack, and I knew it would be a fiery game. I knew that Ivory Coast will not manage to get a win or a draw, and Germany will come back somehow. And I was kind of right, to be honest. And this game was a good game to watch. 2-1. Ecuador versus Carriacou. Ecuador, I expected Ecuador to smash Carriacou 3-0, but I was shocked to see Ecuador was very flat, and they drew to Karakou 0-0. The goalkeeper of Karakou played well, and yeah, Tunisia versus Japan. This one I went for Japan. I backed Japan all the way, but I didn't expect it to be a four game match. I expected it to be a 2 game match, and yeah. Spain versus Saudi Arabia. I thought it would be a slightly tighter, but it seems like Saudi Arabia gave full control to Spain, and Spain punished Spain was on a revenge mission after being frustrated against Cape Verde, and they were offensively frustrated, so their offense showed up double, and sadly, Saudi Arabia was the victim for that. Yeah. Belgium versus Iran. This game, I thought Belgium will win, especially after having Lukaku come off the bench and have a bright performance. But Lukaku was frustrated throughout the game and did manage to score a goal against Iran. And yeah, Uruguay Cape Verde. This one, I predicted it. I called it. I called that Cape Verde will shock people and get a draw against Uruguay. And Uruguay is it the same Uruguay as we all knew back then, with especially with the likes of Cavani, Luis Suarez, and those other kind. Yeah, the attack has faded off a bit, and the midfield is there. Yeah, that's a bit of offensive defensive issues there. And yeah, Kevadi goalkeeping. Actually, Kevadi in this part, it looked like Kevadi was more controlling the game than Uruguay was. So it was a game of interchanging position here and there. And kudos to Kevadi for taking the game to Uruguay. Yeah, we I really underestimated Kevadi. New Zealand versus Egypt, I thought New Zealand has bottled it, to be honest. At some point it looked like it was 1-1 and it looked like it was going to be 1-1 towards the end. But Egypt came back and Egypt smashed New Zealand 3-1. So kudos to Egypt. They really played well. Now Argentina versus Austria, this one I got it. I got a 2-0 game and I predicted that game. France versus Iraq, I thought it would be 5-0. I was right about it should be a goal throwing match, but France did score those two extra goals. Yeah, but again, you also have to look at the circumstances as well. France was a bit frustrated against Iraq, um, especially with the storm that delayed the match a bit. The match started and then the storm came in the 30th minute, so that delayed the match a bit, and they had to go to the locker room as well. Norway versus Senegal. This was a good match to watch. That game was fiery. Norway played good football. Senegal looked second fiddle. Yeah. Jordan versus Algeria. I backed a draw. I don't know why, but I did believe in Algeria to point against get 3 point against Jordan, and I thought both teams would be flat, to be honest, and that's why I went for a draw. Portugal, Uzbekistan. I thought I didn't know whether Portugal will respond, but I knew Portugal will respond with a 3-1 win, but I didn't know they'll respond with a 5-0 win. Yeah, but that was a shocker, to be honest. England, Ghana. I thought this was a game of attack versus attack, and to be honest, in that game, for those who have watched it, it was a good game to watch. England could have had 3 goals scored, but Ghana's defense was top notch. And also, Ghana had some period of duration where they could have scored. And yeah, Panama versus Croatia 1-0. Panama's defense was tight, and Croatia got a 1-0 game. Yeah, Palmena has now conceded only 2 goals, making the defense a very tight defense. What else? Colombia versus DLC Congo. As I knew this game would be a tight game, knowing how defensive DLC Congo is, and how Colombia is more of an attacking team, and they'll get frustrated. And DLC Congo kept Colombia on their toes, and they didn't lose by a big margin. So obviously now this means a lot. Now we go over to round three, Gameweek 3. Yeah, Bosnia versus Qatar. Bosnia heads into this game 1 point. They're playing against fourth place Qatar, and Bosnia looks like they're playing against yeah, they play against fourth place Qatar. Oh, they play against fourth place Qatar, and both teams have got a draw and a loss. So it is going to be a tight game for both teams. Yeah, and both teams have had red cards deciding their games. I don't know, but let me search. Switzerland versus Bosnia. Yeah, Bosnia had a red card, which means one man is missing this game. And I know Qatar is missing two players for this game. So yeah, both teams are on a streak as well. For Bosnia, what are the chances of being the best eight? Bosnia's chances of being best eight is fading away. Bosnia is currently in position number 10 of best eight, and Bosnia needs a win to go to runners up position, and they know, yeah, so Bosnia needs a win. Qatar is obviously out, they're not out and heading out, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Bosnia. Yeah, Bosnia to get some goals. It could be tight. It could be tight of 1-0, but I'm going for 2-1. Switzerland versus Canada. Yeah, both teams are already through to the knockout phase. Yeah, so no matter the results here, whether it's a win, loss, or draw, both teams are already through. Canada are through. Yeah, so what matters, both teams are guaranteed of top three, and with the way top three is going, seems like the top eight will, yeah, you'll be guaranteed top eight if you have 4 points. Yeah, you'll be guaranteed top four eight if you have 4 points. And this game looks like a dead rubber game, but I'm going to go for Canada to win the game against Switzerland, 2-1. Yeah, Morocco versus Haiti. Haiti is already going. Haiti has already gone home, and for Haiti, they know that there's nothing to win in this game. So, and for Morocco, they just want to win for the sake of winning. So, in this game, I'm going to back Morocco to have a big win, and a win of 3-1. Last game, Morocco won 1-0, but I feel like Morocco's attack will be more visible in this game against Haiti. And with the way Haiti has been losing, they've been losing 3 goals difference. Yeah, they lost to Brazil 3-0. They lost to Scotland 1-0. So 3-1. Yeah. Scotland versus Brazil. Obviously, Brazil are through to the knockout phase. Scotland are fighting for third place, and Scotland wants to get a shock win against Brazil. Obviously, that is Scotland's ambition, but I doubt Scotland will manage to get a shock win against Brazil. And for this game, I see Brazil getting a win, 2-1 to Brazil because of squad quality. And yeah, next game, Czech Republic versus Mexico. Mexico are through to the knockout phase, and Czech Republic are playing against Mexico. So, how is Czech Republic's third place playoffs position? Because this game I was going to go for a 2-0 win for Mexico, and Czech Republic's third place position is they're currently eighth place. They're on the borderline between qualifying for knockout phase and on the borderline of not qualifying for knockout phase. So for Czech Republic, it is a tight game. Yeah, but I'm going, and I know for Mexico they'll rotate most likely, but surely they can beat Czech Republic for sure. So I'm going for 2-0 win for Mexico to beat Czech Republic. And yeah, now for this game is interesting game. South Africa versus South Korea. South Africa will be hoping for a third place finish. South Korea will be hoping to secure runners up. Obviously, South Korea is more likely to finish to secure runners up, and they know Mexico will likely beat Czech Republic with their B rotated side. And for South Korea, they know they're facing a slightly motivated, wounded South Africa side. And this is a game that will spark a lot of controversial opinion, especially for me and the group chat where I'm from. Yeah, and about South Africa, I'm hot and cold. But to be honest, in this game, it South Africa is like a wounded horse going to a slaughterhouse. So I'm going to go for South Korea to get a slight win against South Africa 1-0. Yeah, to be a slight win, the defense, South Africa defense will try a lot and they'll be pushing for a win. But sadly, South Korea will get that one chance and they'll score. They'll take advantage of it and they'll score. Yeah. Next game, Karakou versus Ivory Coast. Now, this is a game where Ivory Coast needs a win to qualify. If Ivory Coast wins, the this generation of players will have done what other players have not done, and they'll have qualified Ivory Coast for knockouts phase football. Obviously, Ivory Coast is playing an easier opponent. Yeah, is that on the screen? Yeah, obviously, Ivory Coast is playing an easy opponent of Karakou, and yeah, I see it being a 2-1 game. It could be 3-1 actually. It could be 3-1, but Ivory Coast rarely scores too many goals, so it is 2-1. Yeah, Karakou will push for something, but sadly, then even them themselves they know that they're heading home. Yeah, and the third place, is there any chance for Karakou to get third place? With 1 point, if they get a shock win against Ivory Coast, there could be a strong chance for Karakou to qualify because they'll be on 4 points and yeah. So they'll be fighting. Ivory Coast is that better quality and Ivory Coast will attack will show up. So 2-1 to Ivory Coast. Ecuador versus Germany. Now this is a game where I am more of 50-50 about. Mm, for Ecuador, currently right now Ecuador is the ninth best third place team. And Ecuador, they know that they need a win and they need to start scoring goals because so far the attack has not showed up in this World Cup and Ecuador cannot go another game without scoring goals. So in this game, it is advised for Ecuador to score a goal. I know Ecuador will not score, but I'm advising Ecuador to score a goal because Germany is already through to the knockout phase, and Germany knows that they're ready to knockout phase. But either way, I think Ecuador will do that. Will will collapse in this game, and Germany will smash Ecuador 3-0. Yeah, I'm seeing a collapse. I'm seeing a 3-0 collapse that Ecuador will experience against Germany because I think Germany will rotate, and I'm not convinced of Ecuador scoring a goal against Germany. And sadly, that will mean Ecuador finishes third place. Yeah, finishes fourth. Yeah, Ecuador finishes fourth. Yeah, no third. Yeah, third place. Yeah, because of goal difference. Japan versus Sweden. This is another interesting game. Japan is on 4 points. Sweden is on 3 points. Sweden. Wait, wait. Let me get a charger. My thing is dying. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, my laptop is dying. Was dying. I had to get a charger either way because my laptop was dying. So I plugged it in. Yeah, so this interesting game, Sweden was smashed by Netherlands 5-1. We talked about that in the review. And Sweden smashed Tunisia 5-1. So on goal defense, Sweden is going to on third on among the best eight teams for third place. But obviously, in this game, what will happen to Sweden? Sweden is already through. Japan is already through, but just Japan is stronger than Sweden. I was initially going to go for 2-1 win for Sweden, but I changed my mind and go for a 2-1 win for Japan. Yeah, after seeing that Netherlands performance, I am I know Harry Potter. I know Harry Potter man will not do so well. So yeah. So next game is Tunisia versus Netherlands. Tunisia have is already going home. Netherlands is already going to the next phase. So for Tunisia versus Netherlands to be a third game, 3-0 game, and I think Tunisia will get another battering. Yeah, they have been battered every single game. They haven't changed managers, but this game they'll be battered, and Netherlands defense will show up, obviously, and yeah, 3-0. Paraguay versus Australia. This is a game that matters because both teams have a chance to qualify through the runners up or third place. That's why I haven't, but both teams are guaranteed of top three qualifications. Yeah, Paraguay is among the best eight, and for this game, let me check. Paraguay versus Australia. What game? What prediction did I give that team? Oh, give her 2-1. Okay. So, let me check that place. Yeah, is convinced of Paraguay is among the best three, best eight of third place teams, and Paraguay is convinced of being that. If both teams get a draw, it will help Paraguay a lot because it will mean Paraguay gets a result. Yeah, but I see obviously I see Australia getting a result against Paraguay. Australia cannot lose to they need a comeback performance, and Australia is not Turkey. Australia has already beaten Turkey 2-0. Paraguay beat Turkey 1-0, and it will be a tight game for both teams. Obviously, very tight game for both teams, and Paraguay will want to show up. They'll really want to show up, and they'll want to fight for a higher position. And Australia will want to show up, and they'll want to retain the position. Yeah, so that seals a 2-1 win for Australia. Next game is Turkey versus USA. This game is a fire game because Turkey has already packed the bags and they know that they're heading back home. USA wants to continue their streak of winning all the games. USA have already qualified for knockout phase and they'll rotate here and there. Yeah, I don't see Turkey getting a win against USA. I see USA beating Turkey 2-0. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We are on our mission to we are on our mission to 2.5k subs. Yeah, help us reach that, and also yeah, help us reach 2.5k subs as well. And yeah, next game is Norway versus France. This is an this is a good match to watch and a good match to see as well because wow, didn't both teams not give us entertaining football for Game Week 2? Especially Norway's matches were entertaining, full of attack, full of goals, and that's what we knew this group will be full of goals from all three nations. And Norway attack was fire. 3 goals against Senegal. Yeah, and so far for Norway, they've scored 7 goals, and for France, they've scored 6 goals. So this game, as promised, this game is a game between it's a game in total where teams have scored like 13 goals, and that means this game is promising to be a high scoring game, a very, very high scoring game, and both teams have already qualified for knockout phase. A lot, a lot is on the cards, but yeah, a lot is on the cards here. I feel like Netherlands defense will let them down. The attack will be good, but Netherlands defense will let them down, and it will be a 2-1 win for France. Yeah. Senegal versus both teams are heading home. Both teams know that this is a dead rubber game. So yeah. So yeah, so for that, yeah. At Algeria versus So for this game, Senegal versus Iraq, it should be a dead rubber game, and I'm going to predict Senegal to get a humble win of 2-0 against Iraq. At least they walk away with one win on the card. Yeah, that's better than nothing. Yeah. So next game is Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde will be wanting to get some points against Saudi Arabia. They'll be wanting to get a shocker. Yeah, I saw the game against Saudi Arabia, Spain versus Saudi Arabia, and I thought Saudi Arabia just looks flat, just looks poor. I thought Spain versus Saudi Arabia before that game was going to be a good game where Saudi Arabia will at least take the game to Spain, but Saudi Arabia looked like they gave the game up to Spain. Yeah, they did not take the game to Spain. They gave it up to Spain. So Cape Verde Cape Verde has been showing development here and there, and I know this might be a shock. I know people are wondering why are you backing Cape Verde to beat Saudi Arabia? To Cape Verde to beat Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of promise in this game. Number one, Cape Verde against Uruguay. That could have been a win against Cape Verde versus Uruguay. And Cape Verde played good football, very good football. I was actually impressed with Cape Verde's football. Serbia versus Spain, they played poor football. That was horrible football. And when you look at those two footballs, and then Spain and then Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay, they bottled it. They bottled a 1-0 lead against Uruguay. I know Cape Verde also bottled a lead against Uruguay, but at least, yeah, so for this game is 1-0. Yeah, and to be a shocker, but I think Cape Verde can get a shock against Saudi Arabia. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Yeah. Uruguay versus Spain. Uruguay versus Spain. Spain will beat Uruguay 2-0. Yeah. I see Uruguay hasn't, in the 2 games, Uruguay has not impressed me at all. So, and Spain looks like they have been improving here and there. And Spain has qualified for the knockout phase. So, for Spain, they just need a draw or a win to just confirm it. But mathematically, they've qualified for they're guaranteed of top three. They just want to be guaranteed of top two. Yeah. So for Spain, yeah, Spain will beat Uruguay 2-0. And Egypt versus Iran. This is an interesting game. Yeah, very, very interesting. Egypt needs yeah, for Iran, Iran will be looking for points against Egypt, and Iran will want to continue that draw against Egypt. They want to continue at draw. And Iran, I thought Iran should have played better football. I, Iran clearly took the game to Belgium, to be honest, and Belgium does look poor against Iran. And hopefully, with their players coming back, Iran can do better against Egypt. So I see this game being a 1-1 draw. New Zealand versus Belgium. I'm sorry to New Zealand fans, but you bottling to Egypt makes me see Belgium winning 2-0 against you. Croatia versus Ghana. This is an interesting fire game. Is guaranteed of top three. Croatia is also guaranteed of top three. So both teams are guaranteed, but Croatia is slightly better than Ghana. And I see a tight game. Could be 2-1 or 1-0, but I'm completed. Which one to choose? I'll choose 1-0. Yeah. Panama versus Egypt versus no Panama versus England. This game I'm going for a 2-1 win, 2-0 win. Yeah. Colombia versus Portugal 2-1. I think Portugal will get a shock win against Colombia. Cristiano has opened the scoring with a brace, but it against weaker sides. But let's see how Colombia does responds or handles Portugal's attack. But I see Portugal's confidence has skyrocketed, so that will be hard for Colombia's defense to handle. DRC Congo versus Uzbekistan. DRC Congo will get I don't know why I see a draw here, 1-1. Yeah. Algeria versus Austria. Algeria versus Austria. This one I see a win for Austria to come back of 2-1. Yeah. Jordan versus Argentina. Jordan versus Argentina I see 3-0 win for Argentina. Yeah. Is there any other comments that I missed out on? No. Apart from that, I think that sums it up. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Big up to all you guys. You are amazing. Yeah, and that's up the group stage. Hopefully, some predictions I'm wrong, but we'll be back for knockout stage later on. Apart from that, subscribe, like, share, and later today we'll be live. We'll be co-streaming the live watch-alongs for the games that are happening. Apart from that, yeah, see you guys next time. And I'll hop on to Arno's channel. Make sure you watch his stream for the away end, and I'll upload the video later today. Yeah, so see you guys, and I'll be right. Stop sharing.
Thanks for watching Football Overseas. We're thrilled you joined us for today's action and analysis. If you enjoyed the stream, smash that like button, share with your football family, and subscribe to never miss a moment. Stay connected with us, Instagram at Foyt2019. X at Kyle44323945. Facebook, Football Overseas and Football for Life Show. TikTok, FO_NextGen_SportShub. Catch all your favorite shows: Premier League Game Month Show, Champions Crystal Ball, Goal Plus Africa, Eurovision, Libertadores Vision, United Frontline, Harambee Stars Unleashed, and more. We bring you global coverage, from the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga to F1, cricket,